It is pull day, so we have some back. So we got some lats, some upper back, and some biceps. Starting with the lat lashing. So we are doing a pullover here, two different pullover variations. The first one is the equivalent of basically called a cable pullover or pull down, whatever you want to call it, but it replicates a pullover motion, so I call it a banded pullover. Basically on this one, set your body position fairly upright, relatively still. We're getting a 2-second hold in that peak contraction. And big tips here is feel like you're driving your elbows towards your lower back. So there's a bit of a wrapping around, kind of pulling in at your side component and a down component. So you're pulling your upper arm down. If you imagine how your lats insert, that's the direction they will pull your upper arm. So get a hard squeeze of your lat this side. Feel like you're jamming your tricep into the side of your lat. And so you'll see that we're going to start with 8 to 10 reps there. And again, 2-second hold when you are in at the side, and then right into a dumbbell pullover. Again, this is one that is much better if you have a bench, but the assumption is that not everyone has a bench. So I wanted to show it on the floor. Stretch as far as you can. You can bring it to the point where the dumbbell lightly touches or stays just a half an inch off the ground, and get a little pause there when you're in the relative stretch position. Try and keep your abs relatively tight, lower back pressed into the ground, just because the range is short here because you're running to the ground. You'll see I find that with my abs partway through. It's kind of forgetting to do that. But body nice and still. And again, when you're from that stretch position, feel the lats stretch, get a little pause, and contract them hard. Again, pulling your upper arm really more down towards your hips, more so than kind of even thinking up or forward. Then you'll see I've got two different bands set up here. So I had the lighter band for the pullover variation, and then a heavier band doing kind of just a row first. So again, with the row, the goal, not as much upper back, of course some is involved, is really just driving those elbows down and around your body. So again, feel like they're touching the center of your lower back. I say if you got the tramp stamp, guys and girls, not discriminating, drive those elbows in towards where that tramp stamp would be located. And again, get a hard squeeze of your lat in the side, jamming that tricep into the arm. Then you're going to go into a kneeling position, lean forward. And so again, this is one of those mechanical drops. That's two different ranges of motion. The other one where your lat is short, and now taking it up into a stretch position. And with the other one in the row, you're getting the 2-second pause here. It's just kind of a quick pace. And again, stretch that lat up, drive that upper arm down and back, and keep the arms in tight, elbows in tight there as well too. Don't let them flare out. On to upper back. So we're going to a dumbbell here. And again, that band high row is as many reps as you can possibly get, all the way to failure. And now for upper back, we're doing a 2-arm dumbbell row. This one, a little tough to see from here, but you'll see I'm letting my elbows flare out a little bit at my side, not as tucked, and I'm driving them further back. So the other ones, you'll see I was kind of stopping at my side, just trying to bring them in tight and kind of around my back. Here I'm actually driving my elbows back as far as I can. So you see I'm bent at the hips, so spine is straight, nice and still. I'm letting my shoulder blades pull forward, pinching them as hard back as I can while driving my elbows back. 2-second pause at the top. Same for the shrugs, just trying to drive my shoulders up kind of towards my ears. 2-second pause, contraction there, again, mainly targeting the upper traps. Nice controlled pace. So both the first two exercises, 2-second pause at the top or peak contraction, and both of those are for 8 to 10 reps, trying to keep everything else as still as possible. So no bouncing up and down the ankles or knees. And then going essentially into an RDL, to a retraction. So I call these retraction RDLs. Keep that dumbbell in front of you the whole time. Just a standard RDL, driving the hips as far back as you can. A little bit of a soft bend in the knee, no big deal. Go as far as you can before the spine starts to round. If anything, a little pause at the top, and then the bottom, and a pause at the top when you pull back into that retraction. So shoulder blades pulled back, keeping that dumbbell in front of you, squeezing the upper back. And lastly, on to biceps. So we are starting with a strict curl on the wall. So you are taking your upper back against the wall, upper arm against the wall, and just giving it pretty much a standard curl. So palms up here the whole time. And anything here, we're hitting a 2-second hold in the top position. So 2-second hard squeeze of the bicep, not letting the upper body or the arm move off of the wall. Once you've hit your 8 to 10 reps, we are going into a what I'm going to call a wall lean arm curl. So kind of reproducing like an incline bench curl here. So because the bicep crosses over the shoulder joint, getting a little bit more of a stretch going on in this position. And so for these, you're taking absolutely as many as you can, not coming up quite as high, going a little bit more just the bottom half of range of motion, and get as many reps as you can possibly get. So pretty much take those to failure. What you're not going to see here is you're probably going to have to grab a lighter set of dumbbells for this next one. So if you take a second, grab some lighter dumbbells, pronated curls with a 2-second hold at the top. So turn your palms as far down as you can. Again, if they face the ground or they're a little turned up still is fine, but just turn them as far as you can. 2-second hold at the top, shooting for 8 to 10 reps with whatever dumbbell you get. Again, just between those first 2 exercises and that third, you're probably going to have to change out to a slightly lighter dumbbell. Obviously, I'm just showing less reps and everything to demo for form. And then you're going to go a banded hammer curl. So grab a band, hammer curl meeting a neutral grip, and these are going what I consider relatively fast, controlled pace. So obviously not trying to have a seizure or move the rest of your body, but just go as many reps as you can at that quicker pace, and finishing with a kneeling lat stretch and a bicep stretch. So get something this height. Obviously could be a chair, something that's not going to move or fold in half. And again, I mess around with different spine positions here. Start a little arch, then I move a little bit more rounded. The big thing is focusing on your shoulder joint and where it's comfortable. My elbows are close together as I can possibly get without smashing my head. I like to have my back a little bit more flat or even slightly rounded. And then just putting my shoulders towards the floor. Again, feel a nice stretch in the lats. Don't force it. Slow breaths into that stretch. Again, don't force any range of motion or go anywhere that hurts at all. It should just be a mildly painful stretch in the muscle, no pain in the joints, and then going into a bicep stretch. So again, if you don't have something about this height, you can obviously do this standing, grabbing something a little taller. It could be a countertop or something like that. But again, sticking the chest up nice and far. I wanted you guys to see I got bit by a mosquito to show you that stretch. There's, if you don't know, I am in Florida. It is hot as hell, and the mosquitoes are already out. So anyway, for that stretch, chest nice and tall, pushing it forward. Again, letting that shoulder extend behind you. Again, not to the point where there's pain in the shoulder, pain in the biceps. Get to the point where you feel it mainly in the muscle belly, and get it a nice stretch and hold in the bicep. And that is it for your pull day. I hope you guys got some big backs and some big biceps and are feeling the pain after that bad boy.